Summer passed. School started. In those days, there wasn't a big porch like the one you see now. In 1905, it was almost a new building, since it was built in 1900. I loved spending time here. Even now, one of the most beautiful memories of my childhood was seeing Miss Eva Reynolds, our teacher, riding her horse to school in the morning. For me, she was the most glamorous woman in the world. Tall, at ease on her horse, her hair blowing in the wind. She always galloped, as if she was always in a hurry to get somewhere.
I'm the one in charge of taking her horse to the neighbor's stable.
Why is it always you? It's not fair.
Hello, Pearl. Hello, Gerald.
Good morning, miss.
Good morning, miss.
Did you sleep well? Done all your homework? Ready for another day of discovery?
Yes, miss.
Pearl, why don't you bring my horse to the stable? Brush him down and give him a feed of oats and water. As for you, Gerald, I want you to get firewood for the stove. You'll be in charge of keeping it stoked. It's a little chilly, don't you think? Make sure you got enough to last all day. Now off you go.
Miss Reynolds was my idol. I loved her independent spirit. She lived alone, not far from Glen Sutton. She didn't seem to need anyone, and she believed the most important thing in the world was to make us discover things. Every day she taught us to learn something new. After a few years, she moved upstairs above the school, where the IOF, the Independent Order of Foresters, used to have their meetings and planned how to help the sick and the needy. I spent many happy hours with her in that apartment, discussing the fate of the world. That's where, one day, she asked me to be her assistant. But more of that later. I remember the day she invited Mrs. Pelkey to come and talk to us. Unheard of, because Mrs. Pelkey was an Abenaki woman with a face so wrinkled. I never knew a face could have so many wrinkles. She was skinny as a rail, but strong as an ox. I knew her well. It was she who helped nurse my mother when she was sick. Now Mrs. Pelkey was working at the hotel, and she loved telling me stories as much as I loved hearing them.
The region on this side and all the way to the Great Sea is called Wabanakik, the land of the dawn. My people have been canoeing the Missisquoi River for thousands of years. We were here long before the American settlers.
That's crazy.
No, it isn't, you ignoramus.
Children, politeness, please.
Mrs. Pelkey heard, and she winked at me.
All the names of the region come from my language. Yamaska, Memphremagog, Masawipi, Coaticook, Megantic, and Missisquoi. Missisquoi. Do you know what that means?
Swamp with toads.
No, that's Yamaska. Missisquoi means river that meanders where the game is. Here is our hunting ground. Deer, moose, bear. Or it was before all the fences. There is not much room now for my people to hunt.
How old are you?
Gerald Bullock?
Ha, I've got a lot of wrinkles, eh? Well, I'm as old as the moon, and I've lived long enough to see some mighty strange things. I even saw a year where there was no summer.
A year without summer? You mean no June, no July, no August?
There were indeed the months of June, July, and August, but there was no summer. in 1816, the year of the frozen dead, the year of the hungry, in July.
Go on.
It's absolutely true.
We sat very quietly, curious to hear Mrs. Pelkey tell her story.
And some suffered more than others.